These are the steps for an oil change on a car. You'll need oil and a filter. You'll also need some basic hand tools. And you need some means of getting the vehicle off of the ground. You'll also need an oil pan for the used oil. And it's nice to have some latex gloves. Optional would be a creeper. Remember, when using a jack, you should follow all the safety precautions that you can possibly have. Block off the back wheel, set the emergency brake, and use safety jack stands. My back tire is already blocked. And I've set the emergency brake. Open the hood. Open the hood secondary release. If equipped, set a prop rod. On this vehicle, the oil filter is located here. Get underneath the side of the car and locate a good jacking point. On my car, it happens to be this spot right here. You'll want the vehicle high enough that you could work safely underneath. Don't forget to place a safety jack stand. I've placed my safety jack stand, and I suggest removing the post so that you don't trip over it and setting it under the vehicle. Slide the oil pan under the car. Now this car is different from many others. It has a canister type fuel filter, and it does come off with a wrench. This is the oil filter when out. Take the O-ring off of the old filter cap. Be sure to dispose of everything according to your state and local laws. Reinstall the new filter and tighten it down. Once seated, it should be tight, but not too tight that you can't get it off next time. Make sure you wipe off any excess oil residue. Now let's drain the oil from the car. The underside of your car may look different, but the principle is the same. You're going to locate the oil pan. In my case, it's right here. And this is the bolt that we're going to need to loosen. Once you've cracked it loose with a wrench, you should be able to spin it off. As the oil is draining, you're going to want to take that time to do some other things like check the tire pressure, check the fluid levels of everything else. You're going to want to make sure that the bolt for the oil pan is in good shape. Check the gasket if there is one. Make sure there's no debris on it before you put it back. When it's done dripping, reinstall the bolt. When it's slowed to a drip, reinstall the bolt. Careful not to drop it in the pan. Next, just tighten the bolt. Make sure you don't tighten it too tight, otherwise you're going to round over that bolt. Again, wipe off any residue. You should take the time that you're under the car to inspect your belts and hoses. Make sure that the hoses don't have any bulges or any excessive wear. You should also check your brake lines, make sure that they're not leaking. Back on the top side, it's time to fill. You're going to want to check your owner's manual to make sure which type of oil to put in and how much of it. Match them up to the bottom. Carefully fill the oil using a funnel. We're going to make sure that the oil in our engine is right about here, 4.25 quarts. Let's bring the car back down. Install both the cap and the dipstick, and check underneath your car and make sure that you didn't just pour the oil all over the ground. Next, you'll want to start your car, just briefly. Next, check the dipstick. remove it completely, and using a rag, check to see the level of oil. Make sure that you have enough. As you can see, we need to add a little bit more just so that we can get up to the hash marks. All that's left is to put the used oil into a container that you can take it back to a recycling center. All you need to do now is put your tools away, close the hood, and you've just changed the oil.